Morbius is a 2022 American superhero film based on the Marvel comic books character of the same name, produced by Columbia Pictures in association with Marvel. Distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing, it is the third film in Sony's Spider-Man universe. Directed by Daniel Espinosa and written by Madrigal and Burk Sharpless, it stars Jared Leto as Dr. Michael Morbius alongside Matt Smith, Adria Arjona, Jared Harris, and Tyrese Gibson. In the film, Morbius and his surrogate brother Milo become living vampires after curing themselves of a rare blood disease. There were several attempts to bring Morbius to the big screen since 1998, including joining the Blade franchise and having a solo film produced by Artisan Entertainment, neither of which ever came to fruition. After announcing plans for a new shared universe of films inspired by Spider-Man related characters, beginning with Venom in 2018, Sony began developing a film based on Morbius. Sazama and Sharpless had written a script by November 2017, and Leto and Espinosa officially joined in 2018. Work on the film began at the end of the year, with further casting ahead of the production starting in London in February 2019. Filming was confirmed to have been completed by June 2019, with reshoots happening in Los Angeles the following February. Morbius premiered at the Plaza Casco in Mexico City on March 10, 2022, and was theatrically released in the United States on April 1, 2022, after being delayed several times for an initial July 2020 date, primarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film was a box office bomb, grossing over $163 million worldwide, and received largely negative reviews from critics, with criticism toward its writing, visual effects, and post-credit scenes, though Smith's performance received some praise. The cast includes Jared Leto as Dr. Michael Morbius, a scientist suffering from a rare blood disease whose attempts to cure himself afflict him with a form of transgenic vampirism, gaining all of the superhuman abilities but none of the superstitious weaknesses associated with vampires. Leto was drawn to the character's struggle with his disease and the moral implications of a hero who has a thirst for blood. He found the role surprisingly challenging, since it was less character-driven than his prior performances and closer to his real-life personality, not requiring his well-known method-acting approach. Matt Smith as Lucien, or Milo, Morbius' surrogate brother, a rich man originally named Lucien and renamed by Morbius, who suffers from the same rare blood disease as he does. When Milo gains the same abilities as Michael, he embraces his identity as a vampire wholeheartedly. Smith was originally announced to play the comic book character Loxias Crown, or Hunger, but this was later changed to a significantly different character based on Morbius himself. After turning down other superhero films, Smith joined the film due to Daniel Espinosa's involvement and encouragement from his former Doctor Who castmate Karen Gilligan, who portrays Nebula in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Espinosa encouraged Smith to give a bold, villainous performance. Adria Arjona as Martine Bancroft, a scientist and Morbius' colleague. Arjona said the character was the smart one in the room and took inspiration from politician and activist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Jared Harris as Dr. Emil Nicholas, a mentor and father figure to Morbius and Milo, who runs a facility that looks after people with incurable illnesses. Madrigal as Alberto L. Rodriguez, an FBI agent hunting Morbius and Stroud's partner. And Tyrese Gibson as Simon Stroud, an FBI agent hunting Morbius and Rodriguez's partner. Gibson noted the character is white in the comic books, and the producers made him black to cast Gibson. While Gibson described Stroud as a superhero with a high-tech weapons-grade arm, in the film all scenes featuring his arm were cut. Gibson signed a 3-picture deal when he joined the film. We also get a cameo appearance here from Michael Keaton, reprising his role as Adrian Toomes, or the Vulture, from the MCU film Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017. Due to its lackluster box office performance and dour critical reception, Morbius inspired various internet memes. Polygon wrote that the film became a kind of collective internet hate watch, with fans sharing meme shitposts, which ironically praised it. Following its release, the hashtag MorbiusSweep, which jokingly claimed Morbius was the most financially and critically successful film of all time, began trending. Claims included the film becoming the first to sell over 1 trillion tickets and the first to make over $1 billion. Receiving an impossible 200% or higher approval rating from Rotten Tomatoes, and an edited screenshot of the Wikipedia page covering the highest-grossing films, claiming Morbius had earned $352.9 trillion. One such post made the claim that Martin Scorsese, who had previously declared that superhero films were not cinema, had changed his mind after seeing this film. Morbius actor Tyrese Gibson, who apparently did not understand the joke, shared the quote on his Instagram, believing that it was real. He later deleted it shortly after commentators told him it was fake. Now, frankly, this is just an odd film. Morbius is hardly one of the most iconic characters in the comic book canon, but in saying that, though, the character's backstory is still interesting. Here, though, we have a bland, one-dimensional take on this character. This movie lacks soul. Ironic when you think that the story is all about vampires. But it's like they were pushed for time and were like, okay, let's just get this done so we can go home early. The story is disjointed and all over the place, and the pace is just uneven and rushed. Jared Leto tries to sink his teeth into a role, but there is no blood to drain from it, and instead we see a dull, emo-driven performance by an actor trying too hard to take himself too seriously. This is a complete waste, though, of Matt Smith's talent, and his character Milo is just never developed nor intriguing enough to hold our attention. And frankly, I couldn't believe when we got to the big end fight, as it were, where, of course, the protagonist takes on the antagonist. I just couldn't believe it. That was it. The movie was done. I was left feeling somewhat empty and perplexed, as saying to myself, was that it? Is that all they've offered me? Adria Arjona is as bland as can be, as is Tyrese Gibson, who really just does nothing in the film, as he battles to shed the attachment, of course, to the Fast and Furious franchise. And what more can I say about his annoying partner here, Alberto? His one-liners are just pure crass. Director Daniel Espinosa was an odd choice to direct this film. For me, most of his movies have bombed or failed at the box office, and he battles to tell a story with any conviction. You can see he had no passion coming into this project, and I'm just surprised that an actor like Jared Leto, who really likes to invoke passion into his roles and is famous for his method acting approach, would choose such a nothing role, especially when across the aisle in terms of comic books he played, of course, the Joker, albeit in a not fair rendition. The CGI is okay, and Matt Smith really does try his best, and I can see what they were trying to go for, but it just keeps falling short. Dull, soulless, badly paced, and just a very forgettable film. Morbius is a major disappointment for what could have been so much more. After Leto's latest attempts at acting, maybe he should just stick to making music with 30 Seconds to Mars until he finds a nice juicy arthouse film that he can really sink his teeth into. Morbius gets a 4 out of 10.